Hello, all you beautiful beings of light, my wonderful soul family, fellow travelers upon this planet. I'm back. I've had 5 years of kind of nightmares, and you probably, because I've talked about the chaos before, but I can tell you it wreaks havoc, and that's where I've been. I apologize for showing up for a brief time. That was sort of like the baby steps, and then have had a especially difficult couple of times a year. Okay, so that aside, why am I here? If you're back, my name is Claudia, and it is my distinct privilege and honor to be here with you. I am someone who discovered that I'm a soul having a human experience, and what I want to do is share with you how that came about and what that means in terms of when you discover who you truly are, how powerful you are, how wonderful and magnificent, loving, caring, compassionate, honest, and creative, inventive individuals, that my goal is to help you to navigate your life and the life challenges as we share this walk together. And when we do, we can change the world. Not just you and me, not just the folks in your life, but that's where it is, that's where it starts. But one thought changed for the better, for a positive aspect of things, moves us closer to a peaceful, loving, harmonious earth and people who thrive and will take care of the earth and each other. So how did all this start? Well, my beginnings were what I'm going to say is I came in with a set of principles and ethics and whatever you want to call it sort of built in. And I think we all have components that make up the characteristics of who we are built in. And my mother used to say to me, how could you know that? When I was pretty young, I'll say 9, I think 8 or 9 was the first time I said something along the lines of this body that is our house, houses the spirit. It was designed to last 150 years. And that's when she looked at me and said, how could you possibly say such a thing or know that? And at the time, children are too young, too little, they're not using a lot of reasoning, or let me say their reasoning, logical capacity is limited at that time. We're here to help them learn some of those things and how to use their own innate intelligence and wisdom that they actually come in with. So I've known for a long time that I have some special abilities, and I believe that each one of you do too. You're marvelous beings of light. So there were some turning points in my life, and in this particular case, I was struggling with my marriage of not very many years at that point, and I knew to begin with it wasn't really meant to be, but there was a baby, and you do what you need to do, and you take care of what you need to take care of. I think we all know and have experienced that. Well, somebody said to me, you really ought to go see this fellow, this intuitive guy. And at the time, he was in the University District of the University of Washington. Well, I really couldn't quite put that together with a logical mind. I was a working in a very rational capacity for the city of Seattle at that time. And when I finally, you know, you have to come to your knees sometimes and be begging for some way out or some knowledge or whatever. And my foundation or beginnings were a strict Catholic family. I'm from an old world Italian father and Heinz 57 is what I am, but the upbringing was rather strict. There were too many, there were 8 of us, so there were a lot of children that, like herding cats, you have to be kind of strict with where you want them to go and get them caged sometimes or corralled. Anyhow, I went to see this fellow. Long story short, and I was nervous as could be, but he, with his sixth sense, his intuition, knew right away, even though through his questioning I was beating all around the mulberry bush and did not want to hit the heart of the matter that my marriage was in trouble. That's like a failure, and nobody wants to admit that. When I finally said, when he said, "Is there anything else?" And I said, "Yes, my marriage is in trouble." He just said, walked me through this little process, and he said, close your eyes for a minute and just tell me, you know, what you see. And I said, well, there's a doorway in front of me. And I took the deep breath and did the nose dive. I went for it. And he said, so walk up to that door and tell me how it feels. And I said, well, part of me doesn't want to go in. And the other part says you have to go in. And he said, well, what do you want to do? So I opened the door. It was my decision. And that's a really important phrase for you to know, because I really value words, but I opened that door. And what I did was step into the door frame. I could not get into the room. It was so packed, floor to ceiling, with binders and folders and computers on a very small desk and a little tiny window, barely a stream of light coming through up above. And my then husband, was sitting at the desk. And there was not even a path that I could have walked through. And I was asked, how does this feel? And I said, there's no room for me in here. So, number 2, I'm the one who opened the door, but number 2, I'm discovering there's no room for me in here. And so this facilitator, and I am shortening the story, we're getting to the key points here, said, turn around. And so I did, and stepped down off the step I had gone up on, and he said, tell me what you see. And I looked and I said, well, it's all white. I can't see anything. And he said, that is your canvas. That is your life. You get to paint it with your footsteps in this world and with your life. That was a huge turning point for me. A turning point that I already knew within me. I would not have gone up and opened the door, would not have understood that the words that I was saying out loud and that I was feeling from the inside out. This wasn't a head trip. This was my inner knowing explaining to me that, you know, this child, the product of this marriage, was really what you came together to do, and that it had served its purpose, the marriage. There's an exchange between adults, of course, a natural exchange, but that marriage had served its purpose. I knew that when we were done with that session. So that was a turning point for me. I bet you've all had it didn't, my life and marriage didn't stop there. It took me I think maybe 5 or 6 years after that to begin to you begin processing something when you really don't understand. You understand that it's done, but because of my roots, my Catholic upbringing, you've made your bed, you're going to lie in it. You're not easily just going to jump ship and get out of there. Not when you have a conscience for other people, for this, world, for, a marriage that's crumbling around you, and for the child that's going to, all of the individuals that will suffer as a result of or the consequence of you thinking you've made a poor decision or choice. That was my beginnings of a really long walk, and that took place, it was in the early 80s when that took place, and so a number of years between when I actually divorced and that took place. So heartbreaking for me to think that I had made a terrible mistake and not, there's from the inner knowing part of you that knows that there's no room for you there. This is a logical, linear, rational person over here. You've been logical, linear, rational, and now you're beginning that process of becoming aware there's another aspect, and that aspect is not necessarily logical. And so that was the first step for me, but the knowing was so strong. And once I finally did come to the conclusion, I pretty much that I knew I had to get a divorce, that it was we were harming each other, and the marriage was just shot, and it can't be one-sided. Everybody has to try to work together to pull it off, and that was not happening. Although I'm not saying he was in the wrong or I was in the right, or that I was in the wrong and he was in the right. It has nothing to do with that. My purpose in my videos is to let you know that you are a divine being of light and love and compassion and wisdom, truth and trust. And that there's an aspect of your being, your very nature, that may have been neglected, and that is that sixth sense. That is that wisdom that resides within you. It is your connection with your Creator. So here we are. I'm coming back. I am developing and well into the process. My previous videos are Your Soul Matters. And now we're going to do Your Health Matters, Your Child Matters, and raising spiritually or a kind and loving child who is capable of making decisions that include that inner compass that we all have, and in teaching some classes. So I have some things that are coming up. I will keep you posted. I hope to start this week, but I have to pull quite a few things together, so it may be a week or two yet. Don't be disheartened. I'll pop in now and again and just give you an update for now. I'd like to know what you think, so be sure and hit like, subscribe, and make comments. Those are the 3 things that have this channel be of value to me, that has me continue. And I think you're going to have fun along the way, because child rearing can be a hoot. Marriages can be a lot of fun. Your life does not have to be dull and boring. And the message from me to you is, I am not the domestic model. I realized that way back in that first marriage in the 70s, and it perpetuated itself all the way up to today. I am the adventurer model, and that is my catchphrase. I'm the adventurer model, and I think that being open to that inner guidance, that inner wisdom that is saying you have to go paint your own pictures. You've got to paint your own life. Although we are we're individuals first, we can get married, we can have children, we can be volunteers, we can do all these things and help others, but we still have to honor ourselves, and that is an adventure of self-discovery. So I hope you'll join me in those adventures, and I look forward to seeing you again. I want you to know that I love you with everything that I am, this much. It's my arms just go around the world here. I love you all. I'm grateful for you following this channel, and I hope you'll stick with me. And to find out more information, just click on the down arrow and you'll see that I have a website. This channel, there'll be more channels that we'll be doing. So I look forward to seeing you again. I hope you stay well, safe, happy, and that you thrive on this ever-changing planet. I love you. Till next time. Bye.